Guys, we got a great show today. We got a great guest coming on the show. His show actually was the first podcast that I ever went on way back in 2015. So stay tuned.
Fantasy football, you dealing with the best. Keep it hype, authentic. This ain't nothing like the rest. With the Armchair Fantasy Show podcast, give advice for all the listeners to improve your stats. Yeah, we live on GoingFor2.com. Tuesdays and Fridays, this is what you want. Talking dynasties and daily drafts, and we just getting started. That ain't even the half. Yeah, so go ahead, tell your friends to join. Going for two, cause no one remembers the extra point. Hey, GoingFor2.com, the Armchair Fantasy Show.
What's going on, guys? All right, welcome to episode 106 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I'm your host, of course, Jeff Lambert. You can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. Coming at you live every Tuesday and Friday night on Facebook Live, Periscope, and YouTube. And syndicated, of course, in all of the podcast networks, iTunes and such, and streaming on the GoingFor2 app as well. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Mr. Ryan Searfoss. Ryan, how you doing tonight, man?
Fantastic. It's a hate week here as a Ravens fan, so I'm getting all nasty and riled up for Sunday.
Good stuff. Also tonight joining us, he's been on a show before, but it's been a while, Mr. Fantasy Typhoon, whose show I went on way back in 2015, man. How you doing tonight, man?
Hey, Jeff, what's going on, man? I appreciate the love. I appreciate you extending the olive branch to me to come be a humble host on your wonderful show. And look, man, I got to tell you, man, you come a long way. I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I can always, like you said, I can remember back to the Eddie Lacy.
Yep.
Number one overall.
Yeah, that was it. That was my claim to fame right there. Unfortunately, I had Eddie Lacy number one overall in his third year, and of course that was the year he sort of fell off, and that was just
Was that the cheeseburger year?
That may have been the cheeseburger year. Yes, it may have been. Yeah, actually, I was writing at the time. I was writing for my own site that had just started up, and I was writing also for a site that was called rotowriters.com, and that's where he found my article, and he hit me up, and he said, come on the show, talk about this Eddie Lacy being number one overall. I had all the stats to back it up. Everything looked good going into that season, and then he just decided he wanted to eat too much. So.
Yeah, I still tease Jeff about that to this day.
Yep.
But, there's a few guys on Twitter that I bond with. About seven folks that if they need help, they say, Typhoon, hey, man, give me the shirt off your back. About 7 folks on Twitter. I'll take the shirt off my back for. And Jeff, you one of them, man. And, I appreciate your friendship and your camaraderie. You've always helped me with my website as well. Doing some things with me, man, and help me get up and going. And like I said, man, I'm proud of you. You like one of my kids, man, just watching you grow up,
yeah.
Man. I'm proud of you, bro.
All right, man. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. I've definitely come a long way since the back then, that's for sure. All right, guys, we got a whole bunch of stuff to get into. We got a lot of games to talk about. Let's go ahead and get into the news and notes.
News and notes from around the league.
All right, the first one we got on here just kind of broke just not that long ago. John Ross is going to be out, quote-unquote, for weeks. Ryan, we'll go to you for this one. What are your thoughts on John Ross being out, and what are you doing with this news?
Man, it's kind of sad about it. He ran 4.22, and we got a little glimpse of him actually showing up this year, and now he's gone again. It sucks, but we move on. Bengals, they're bad. They're going to be competing with Miami for that first overall pick. They'll be playing later this year, see who's better at losing. But I think Auden Tate's the guy who steps up. We'll talk about him on the waivers in a little bit, but I think he's the guy who has to be there and Boyd. Until then, there's have to wait for A.J. Green to come back, which also could be weeks. We have no idea. But that offense is looking dismal right now.
Yep.
I think everybody takes a hit, and I think it hurts Joe Mixon too, who already doesn't have running lanes because teams don't have to worry about Ross's speed now either.
Yep.
It's gonna be a rough go for that team.
Yep, definitely is, and they can't stop the run.
Can I say something about that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Bengals. I mean, you look at head coach Zach Taylor. I've been observing him, and in actuality, in my opinion, his play calling isn't as atrocious as supposed to make you believe. He's actually on point with his play calling. He's keeping it mixed up. They're just deficient of that talent that you need, to get you over the hump. And of course, that offensive line is just horrible.
Yep.
I think they're ranked number 31. You could be ranked dead last, if you will.
They might have to replace 4 of those guys.
As far as the offensive line, and the game is won in the trenches. So you got A.J. Green, whenever he decides to come back, contract issues, whatever you got going on over there on the sidebar with A.J. Green. But, this team isn't as bad as what you really think they are.
Yeah, I think the skill players are pretty good. It's just that offensive line, I think, makes him struggle a little bit. If you can't block, you can't do anything if you can't block. All right, let's go to you, Fantasy Typhoon, for the next one on here. We got James Conner dealing with an ankle issue, and then talk about Jalen Samuels a little bit as well. Is his backup? Is he somebody worth adding if he's out there on waivers?
Who, Jalen Samuels?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, anything free, go ahead and add. You weren't expecting on him really having a role this year. You was kind of just kind of holding him, just kind of what I call a sleeper cell. You just had him on the bench, and if he gets the call and he gets activated, then hey, that's always good. And if you can find a place to kind of put him in as your RB3 or maybe in your flex, I would absolutely do it. But we do have to see if they did kind of like the Wildcat,
right?
Did the Wildcat had him throwing. It would be good if our sleeper bot or Yahoo, My Fantasy Leagues, ESPN, NFL.com will go ahead and give him tight end, give him wide receiver, give him quarterback. Let's go ahead and give it
to him all
those to his name, and
he would immediately become one of the most valuable players if they ever did that. That's for sure.
Oh my God!
I mean, you got to do that to Taysom Hill too, then.
That's right. Yeah,
Taysom Hill be right. But to answer your question, yeah, absolutely, I would go ahead and add him, and but because like I was saying on my show, Typhoon TV, shameless plug, but it's they got to find an identity there. They lost Antonio Brown, they lost Le'Veon Bell, which those are blue chip players. You don't find those players. Juju is not AB. I'm sorry.
Yep.
And Connor, Bell, and Benny Snell, right?
Yep, Benny Snell.
They are not Le'Veon Bell. They're just not. So it's good to see them kind of mixing it up and trying to find an identity, and that's what I said need to happen before this team can move forward.
Yep, agreed 100%. All right, we'll stick with the running backs a little bit. We'll go to you, Ryan, for this one. Melvin Gordon returns. He was activated last week, didn't play a single snap. Do you expect him to get a full workload in this next game, or are you still kind of hedging your bets a little bit?
I mean, I don't know if we're going to see that heavy workload that we've seen out of Melvin Gordon in the past. I don't know how you completely take Eckler out of the game the way he's been playing. He's, top 8 running back this season so far?
Yep.
And he's doing it in the air. He's electric. He's scoring in the red zone. And I don't know how you take him out. I think they're going to cannibalize each other. I think they're both going to be players you can start, but I think you have a limited upside if you have both and do try to start them. But I mean, he's going to be a mid-range RB2, I think, mid to low end. I'm not going to picture those top 5 performances unless he gets in the red zone. And we're not looking at the same things we did before, where he was that bell cow, because Eckler showed up that he needs the ball in his hands.
Yeah. With that note that you said about Eckler being still useful, is this a buy low time for Eckler? You think, Fantasy Typhoon? Is this a buy low for Eckler?
Absolutely. Well, it depends on Justin Jackson. Is he out, or is he hurt for a long time, or was that a one-game thing, or what?
Yeah, we haven't heard too much on him, actually. I'm not really sure what the situation is with him, if he's going to be out longer.
Well, let's just say Justin Jackson is in the mix. I think Eckler keeps his RB1 role, and here's why. Just think about it. Melvin Gordon held out, right? He didn't get the payday, so he came in, and he asked for a trade.
Yep.
What really scared me. So if I was the GM, I would trade him.
Yeah.
I would trade him before the trade deadline. There's no way I would have Melvin Gordon still on my roster.
No, I agree.
If I was the GM of that team.
Agree 100%, because they're not going to sign him now next year. They're just going to lose him for nothing. So if you can trade him for something,
Why not go ahead and get a pick or compensatory pick or something for his efforts? Go ahead and let him go and let Eckler continue to dominate like he did in the first quarter of the NFL. Absolutely.
Yep. Agreed 100%. All right, let's talk about these couple last ones real quick here. Ryan, we'll go to you. Actually, I'm sorry, we'll go to you, Fantasy Typhoon. We'll go talk about Josh Allen a little bit in the quarterback, and how does that hurt those skill players over there? Or were they even worth starting to begin with?
John Brown, absolutely.
No.
Devin Singletary, absolutely. Even Knox started coming up a little bit. You know, the freight train started coming up in fantasy relevance there for a little bit. But to be honest with you, Josh Allen, only observation I really gave of him was the Patriots game. He just looked horrible. I was like, oh my God.
Yep.
You know, he was just throwing interceptions after interception after interception. You know, he finally used his legs, you know, which is where he finds his fantasy value at. You know, he got hit. It wasn't really a Vontaze Burfict like hit, but you know, he'll probably get an envelope though. He'll probably get that brown envelope from the NFL.
You're probably right.
But Josh Allen was already holding the team back. So let's say if he's out, they're going by next week, so he'll probably be back week 7. So I like Barkley when he came in. He kind of gave it a little fire there a little bit, but he threw a couple of interceptions too.
Yeah, they were just throwing the ball all over the place.
Defense is insane. The Patriots defense is kind of like outscoring Zeke and you know,
it's crazy.
Defense is balling.
It's crazy. Yep.
So, but yeah, I'm buying Devin Singletary, buying Frank Gore. If Singletary hamstring lingers, buying John Brown, and maybe Knox if I really need a tight end.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's recap the picks from last week. The pick'ems. I think me and Ryan both had a terrible week. We picked a lot of the same teams. We ended up 5-5. It was a pretty terrible week. It would have been a good week for me to try to catch up and go opposite of Ryan, but of course I didn't. I took a lot of the same games as he did.
Scared money don't make no money.
Yep. So right now we're sitting at Ryan with 34, me at 26 because of that week that I skipped. I had a big fat 0 that week, so I got a lot of making up to do. And this week definitely did not help me. Ryan, let's do the waivers.
It's now time for the waiver wire pickups of the week.
All right, Ryan, I know you put an article out on GoingFor2.com every week with your waiver wire pickups. Give us a couple of those guys that you got in the article this week.
All right, with the waiver wires, I've been kind of doing it for, if you haven't checked them out yet, you should. I've been doing it start with shallow leagues where there's a lot more guys on free agency, working my way down to the deeper ones. For the shallow leagues, Wayne Gallman's still available in like 30% of leagues. If he's out there, grab him. He's obviously not Saquon Barkley, but he's getting a ton of volume. He had 118 all-purpose yards, 2 touchdowns. He's a good pass catcher. It's worth having. Jordan Howard's still out there in a ton of leagues, and he's in a 50-50 backfield split.
Yep.
So he still has use. And same with Frank Gore, who's super boring, but out there. You got Jameis Winston, and that offense is clicking. He's available in half of leagues right now. So absolutely grab him. Ronald Jones just looked like a star this week. Finally.
Yes.
Like, he was my dude in draft time. I listened back then. He was my, and I'm not feeling good ass for saying it. He had 82 all-purpose yards, and he had a 54-yard to 25-yard gain called back because his line hated him. So he almost had 160 yards, and he looks fantastic. And I don't think Bruce Arians is the kind of idiot who would quit using a guy who is balling like he is.
Yep. Just to go on a note, I saw today a tweet that he's actually PFF's #1 rated running back right now. It's crazy to think that.
What?
Yeah, this is the world we're living in now. It's wild. Cortland Sutton's available in half of leagues. He's in the top 5 for red zone targets on PFF, so he's getting fed in the red zone. He got his first game, he had multiple touchdowns, but he's had so far this year at least 13 PPR points, 7 targets in almost all of his games. Deeper leagues, Cole Beasley. We talked about the Bills guy, kind of going over him. He had 13 targets last week, so with Barkley there's a lot of dink and dunk, so he'll probably catch the balls there. Deontay Johnson looked good for Pittsburgh. Philip Dorsett has been had 9 and 7 targets the last 2 weeks in New England, even though he didn't really produce with them. But that volume, it's gonna come.
Yep.
And then my biggest free agent ad is this week's Auden Tate. We talked about John Ross being out, and I think Tate's going to be the guy who has to get volume because they're going to be coming from behind. They're going to have to throw the ball, and not every ball will go to Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon. So I think Auden Tate's a guy who picks it up. And for tight ends, Chris Herndon's coming back from his suspension. He's a guy everybody had like right around that top 12 range. And the talent hasn't changed, guys. Pick him up. He's available in like 98% of leagues. Oof. Grab him.
Yep, pick him up. Just going back to your... Go ahead.
Tight end sucks.
Yeah.
As a position in general, and he has the ability to hop right into that top 12 weekly production.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, going back to your Auden Tate thing, I'm a little upset because I actually had Auden Tate sort of penciled into my DFS lineups before the John Ross news because he's been getting volume, even with John Ross there. Now that John Ross is out, he'll probably be the chalk in my DFS lineup, so not quite as good a play anymore in my GPPs. But let's go ahead and move on to the...
Hold on. Can I say something right quick?
Yep, go ahead.
Can I just share a quick story of mine, what I had last week happened to me as far as waiver wire? I was facing a guy in one of my dynasty leagues. I think he had Coleman and Matt Breida,
right,
and another scrub. So what I'm saying is being diligent on the waiver wires. Your draft and all this and that is important. But the winner, when you do your due diligence on waivers and you attack waivers and you go strong, it makes a difference. And here's why. He ended up picking up Jordan Howard, and then he ended up picking up Wayne Gallman for his 2 running backs. I'm sitting there with Zeke. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there laughing at him when I'm looking at the lineup at Sunday at 1 o'clock. I'm laughing at him. I'm like, oh, God, he got Gallman. He's got Jordan Howard over there. I'm getting ready to kill him. Man, he whooped me good. So, it's all about being diligent. Don't just rest after the draft. Keep at it. Even if you're 0-4, keep going. Keep attacking those waivers. Pick up Wayne Gallman. Pick up Auden Tate. Even though I was talking about him last year, but that's just kind of But pick up Auden Tate. Keep Eckler. Keep be diligent in this. It's folks think seasonal leagues, are not, kind of like DFS. You kind of want that every week, type gratification. But you can get that when you're picking up waivers, just like Christmas every week.
Agreed, 100%. Because your season can turn around real quick if you get the right waiver ad. All right, let's get to the game previews.
This week's game-by-game previews.
All right, so this week we got 2 teams on a bye, the Dolphins and the Lions. So we can't play the defense versus the Dolphins this week. We can't stream it because they're not even playing this week.
I know, right?
Yeah. So let's see. We'll kick it off with the Thursday night game. We actually got a pretty good game this past week with Green Bay and Philly finally. We got a good one, at least on paper, for this Thursday as well, with the Rams at 3-1, going to the Seahawks, who are also 3-1. Ryan, we'll go to you first for the Rams. What you got for the Rams side of things?
I think the first thing we have to talk about the Rams is the guy left off the waivers is Gerald Everett. I think if you're blowing your fab budget on him this week, you might be making a mistake. He got a ton of targets. He got 8, but that's because they threw all 60. You're not going to see that on a weekly basis. And I think you're chasing fool's gold if you think you're going to get that out of him again. For them, Cooper Kupp is just an absolute target hog. You can't bench him. I think same thing with any of the receivers, as well as Gurley, Goff. I mean, the Rams are one of the most business-as-usual teams in fantasy football this year. If you have those guys, you start them. And I don't think too much changes there. And I don't have the guys with the tight ends. I don't want to really start them unless I'm in a bind.
Right. What about Gurley and his, I think he only had a few carries this past game. Are you worried about Gurley?
I'm not. He still got in the red zone, and I think a lot of it was game script dependent.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to pass. They're in a shootout, and they passed the ball the most absurd amount of times you could ask for.
Yep.
That's not going to happen every week. I trust Todd Gurley. He's ridiculously talented, and I think in a game against the Seahawks where they're not really going to have to sling it as much, you should be fine.
All right, good stuff. Let's go over to the other side of things with the Seahawks, Typhoon. We got the Seahawks who are super ultra efficient. Everyone kind of talked about that run game coming into the season, but it's been the pass game over the last few games. What you got for the Seahawks this week?
Yeah, it's good to see Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll and Brian Schottenheimer kind of come off the run game a little bit, kind of morph, with the game instead of just like, we're going to run the ball, 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 we're going to run the ball. We're down 27-3, guess what? We're going to run the ball. It's good to see them kind of, kind of move with the times and keep up. But I'll kind of give you the full overview here. I like to say it takes a village to raise a child. So, like, if you kind of like want to spotlight one player that you kind of want to make fantasy relevant, it takes all the other 10 doing their job.
Yep.
Whether they might not see the stat sheet to help make that player that I suggest do what they need to do to help you win your fantasy game. Now, like I said, I'll do a full overview here. Now, looking for you bettors out there, the Rams are minus 1.5. The over-under in Vegas is 48. So they're actually looking for this to be a fairly high-scoring game.
Yep.
For a Thursday night, which is surprising. When you look at the Seahawks, it's surprisingly I'm sorry, not the Seahawks. But when you look at the Seahawks, of course, Tyler Lockett sticks out. Because really, what else do you really have as far as your wide receivers? You got DK Metcalf running 9 routes.
Yep.
A little bit of posts and comebacks, but he's acclimating himself to the NFL. He really hasn't found his place and his role in this offense yet. But Tyler Lockett is solidified, especially if you get return yardage. I was hoping to see more from Jerron Brown. Thinking he might kind of show up in 3 wide receiver sets when they go 11 personnel or W formations. But David Moore, is he back yet?
He is back, yep.
Kind of hurt?
He came back, I think, last week, but I don't think he did anything.
Okay, so he's still on the mend. One thing I like about this team is the way Pete Carroll has it. He has that competition Wednesdays and Thursdays. Believe it or not, that's what jobs are won and lost. That's how Chris Carson came from a UDFA up into fantasy dominance. The simple fact that he did it, in competition Wednesdays and competition Thursdays, made a name for himself, and just kind of yanked that number 1 role from Rashad Penny. CJ Prosise is back, finally healthy. Let's see if we can see at least 2 or 3 games from him back to back. Let's see if he can maybe carve out a role here. But at the end of the day, Russell Wilson, Chris Carson, Tyler Lockett are the guys that move the needle. Metcalf, you might want to pick up Will Disley, of course. Can't forget him.
Yep.
As the surprise new money, because you pretty much got him off the wire. Unless you use it kind of like your last pick in your draft, so you're kind of smiling off your Will Disley newfound money. He's a red zone threat there in Seattle. So I would take Seattle.
You taking Seattle in this game? Taking Seattle?
I would take Seattle with the plus 1.5, and I would bet the under.
All right. Ryan, who you got for this game? Oh, you got us on mute, Ryan.
I'm taking the Rams on this one. I like both teams, but I think LA is about to hit that hot streak.
Yep. I think I'm going to go opposite of you, Ryan. I was actually going to pick the Seahawks anyway, so I'm going to go with the Seahawks at home. I think the Seahawks' home field advantage plays a part here, and I think that they get that victory.
Like Russell Wilson said, go home.
All right, let's move on to the next game. This one's not really a high fantasy game, so we'll kind of go fast on this one. Typhoon, you got the Bills at 3-1, going to the Titans at 2-2. What you looking for in this game?
Look, this is Bills is 3-1. Actually, to be honest, they should have beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
To be 100% honest with you. They were in the red zone a lot. They opted out on fourth and goal. They went ahead and went for it. I don't mind it. You're trying to beat Belichick. I don't fault you. A field goal with a 16-13, but hey, you're trying to win. I don't fault McDermott on making that decision. Now Vegas has that Tennessee -1. The over/under is 38, so they're expecting a low-scoring game. They're expecting a lot of defense. This be like your defensive matchup. When you're looking at Buffalo reason why I like Devin Singletary a lot and Frank Gore a lot is for the simple fact that they are the number 3 graded O-line, offensive line as far as coming through the first quarter of the NFL. And also, this defensive unit is just balling there in Buffalo. Now, Josh Allen, whether he comes out the concussion protocol is something that I need cleared up. Like I said, tight end Knox is a person that's coming up. But when you look at Tennessee, offensive line ranked number 16, and they only have 5 wide receivers on their roster. Usually teams carry 6. But, at the end of the day, I just got to be real here. Marcus Mariota is just holding the whole offense back. You it's kind of like a Jeff Fisher style offense here, and they will not upgrade. But it's hard to believe. What's the guy that's over at Green Bay now? I can't think of the head coach now. He had that offense last year.
The head coach?
The head coach at Green Bay. What's his name?
Oh my God!
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank too, man. I don't know why.
LaFleur.
LaFleur, yeah, there, LaFleur.
Yeah, Matt LaFleur. Then Matt LaFleur had this offense last year, and you would think, he would have done something with this. But when you're looking at this team, Marcus Mariota, when he throws the ball, he only throws unless the wide receiver's like wide open. If you don't get too much separation, he'll just go ahead and tuck and take a sack. So that's why A.J. Brown was such a good addition to him. 6'1", 226, second round pick, number 51 in the second round. He plays faster than you really anticipated, especially when he gets in the open field. He has that mentality to turn into a running back. I'm talking about a physical running back. He gets physical when he gets the ball. DBs and safeties and free safeties, sometimes get scared to kind of lay a good hit on him. So that's how he takes 3 catches for 94 yards and 2 tugs like he did this last time. Now, I wouldn't expect to see that every week, but if there was a guy that I would start, it would be Delaney Walker, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, of course, and, Adam Humphries, and Corey Davis are guys, you just kind of, hey, you probably miss it. You probably miss their game.
Yep.
They're probably on your bench.
Yep. All right, we're going to have to speed up a little bit there, Typhoon. You're going to make us be here all night. I know you like to talk, man. Yeah, we're only 2 games in, and we're already at a 30-minute mark. All right.
Okay.
Ryan, let's go to you for actually, let's pick this game. Who you got in this game, Typhoon? Bills at Titans.
I got Bills.
You got the Bills. Ryan, who you got?
I have the Titans. I don't trust if Allen's back yet. I'm not taking him apart. Matt Barkley-led team.
Yeah, that's a good call. Matt Barkley is going to be tough there with that Tennessee defense. I think I'm picking Tennessee as well at home, assuming that Matt Barkley plays. If I hear that Josh Allen is going to play, I may switch that pick over. All right, let's go to the next game, Ryan. This one's yours. We got the Falcons at a surprising 1-3, going to the Texans at 2-2 right now. What you got for this game?
With this game, you have a lot of this big-time guys you're going to see performing. Obviously, your Julio's, D-Hop, both QBs. I think that for the Texans running backs, it's going to be a Duke Johnson kind of game. They're going to be forced to pass a little bit more with Atlanta, and he's going to fit their game plan better in there. I think we'll also see a little bit more of a bounce back with Devontae Freeman. He killed it in the passing game this week, where even though he hasn't been running that well, he's still getting targets. And we've seen a trend of a little bit of downward targets for Calvin Ridley.
Yep.
When Mohamed Sanu's way last week. I think this week against the Texans, it might kind of flip around. I have confidence that we'll see Ridley get those sort of targets again. I like him this week against them as well.
All right, good stuff. Who you taking in this game?
I am taking the Texans at home.
Texans at home. Who you got, Typhoon?
Texans, and it's Will Fuller game.
Will Fuller game. I've been waiting for that game all year, man. I keep putting him in my DFS lineups, and he keeps burning me. So hopefully this is the week to take him. This is the week.
Don't miss it.
I'm taking the Texans as well. I just think that offense is just too good for that Atlanta defense that we thought was going to be better this year, and they really haven't been much better. So I'm taking them as well. All right, the next game is the one Ryan kind of alluded to a little bit in the opening here. Is his Ravens at 2-2 going to the Steelers, who are now 1-3. So Ryan, you got your Ravens. Let's hear what you got to say about them.
First, I'm going to say it's going to be a Mark Andrews game. PFF has that as the best rated tight end matchup this week, with him against Terrell Edmonds, who was vastly overdrafted and gets killed over the middle. So I think he's going to get just shredded by the tight ends. It may be even more than just Andrews, but I think he's the guy there. I think Baltimore passes a lot more than runs this game. The Steelers have really good pass rush, really good front seven, and they're strong up the middle, which might make the running a little bit few and far between. I know Baltimore goes to it, but it's going to be a game where they're going to try to stretch the ball and test those corners with Mike Hilton, Hayden, who's getting a little bit up there in age, who I don't know if can run with Marquise Brown. So I take some of the chances on them in DFS, and I think I'd play Brown in flex spot if I was in a pinch. Lamar, business as usual. Even in bad games, he's putting up 20 fantasy points because of the rushing ability. Yep. But I'm telling you, man, this is the Mark Andrews monster game for them.
All right, good stuff. Let's go over to the Steelers side of things. They finally got their first victory. They actually looked pretty good doing it. It was a bad team, but they get their rival this week, and everything you can throw out their rivals things when you get to this matchup here. What you got for the Steelers, Typhoon?
Well, I kind of went over them, at the beginning. They're trying to find themselves, So, Juju, I hate it for you. I'm sorry. My condolences. If you drafted Juju, he seems to like Vance McDonald, and it's sooner or later. Randy Fitchner, which is the offensive coordinator, is going to call Mason Rudolph and James Washington to the room and say, "Hey, what did you guys Oklahoma?" And it's James Washington Day is coming, but I don't know when, but it's coming. But Vegas has Baltimore -3, over under at 42.5. I'm taking the Steelers. I'm sorry, I'm taking the Ravens.
Taking the Ravens. All right, good stuff. And yeah, I think that connection that we thought was going to be there with Washington didn't show up, and it's been there with Deontay Johnson instead, kind of surprisingly, the rookie. So he's had a good connection with him. All right, Ryan, I'm assuming you're going Ravens here on this one?
I am. Real quick with the Steelers, I said fading Juju, but whoever's playing tight end, I don't know if Vance McDonald's healthy or
he's out.
Is going to be playing.
I think he's out.
McDonald?
Yeah, but I believe he's out this week. I think I saw it somewhere.
Yeah, I'd play Vanna as a deep flex option. Baltimore's getting shredded against the tight ends, and because Tony Jefferson can't cover anybody. So I'd keep an eye on that position, especially in DFS.
All right, so you got the Ravens. We're all going Ravens here, so sweep that. The next game up, we got it's probably the biggest mismatch of the weekend. The Patriots at 4-0 going to the lowly Redskins at 0-4. Typhoon, is there anything here besides the obvious ones you're going to play?
No, make sure you get Patriots defense locked and loaded. Redskins, I would get Chris Thompson locked and loaded. Let's see if Terry McLaurin comes back. I don't think Haskins is ready. They shouldn't have started him. It's not time yet.
Nope.
It's not time. Like they say, if you listen to the fans, you'll soon be sitting with them.
Yeah.
So,
Good
maybe
stuff.
Jay Gruden wants to do the job. I don't know. The Patriots are -13. Over under is 47.5. Patriots O-line is coming in at number 15. Redskins offensive line is coming in at number 26. So of course, give me the Patriots and give me the Patriots with the point.
Yeah, good stuff there. Yeah, the Redskins. So I live in Washington D.C. and all the talk right now is that Colt McCoy may actually start this weekend. So that would throw a wrench into everything. So interesting sort of quarterback controversy here in D.C. Ryan,
hey, I got one right quick. I got one.
Go ahead.
Does Jordan Reed play again?
I don't think so. I think he's done. I mean, they keep talking about him coming back possibly, but I just don't see it. I don't see how they can put him back out there with 7 concussions and say, go out there and play football. I don't see it.
Yeah, he's done.
I believe so. Ryan, I'm assuming you're going Patriots here as well?
Yeah, I think you should go the opposite so you can make that comeback, man.
Yeah, no, it's not happening. I'm not betting on the Redskins. No way. Going with the Patriots there. Sweep it. All right, next game up, the last game before the break, we got the Cardinals at 0-3-1 going to the Bengals at 0-4. I chose this game as one of our featured games just because I think there's a lot of fancy options. And a lot of times when you put two teams together that play as much offense as these guys do and as bad defense as they do, it could be a shootout in this game. So I kind of like this game for fantasy. Ryan, we'll go to you first with the Cardinals side of thing. What you got?
First, I think it's going to be a huge David Johnson game. We saw James Conner tear it up through the air with the dump-off passes against Cincinnati this week. And David Johnson's as good as it gets at that.
Yep.
So I think it's a huge game for him. Christian Kirk out. We see volume out Larry Fitzgerald. And I think Keyshawn Johnson's a guy to keep an eye on as a deeper play for Arizona.
Yep.
But I think those are the big ones there. And obviously Kyler Murray, I think, is in line for a breakout game. And I'm just going to say make my pick and say his first win of the season.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, I think that with Christian Kirk out, I know like Demir Bird, I think is they say his name. He was getting more snaps than Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk when he was in there. So if he's back, I could see him stepping into that role of Christian Kirk and getting those targets and leaving Keyshawn Johnson in the slot. So I kind of like that as well. All right, we'll go to you this time. For the Bengals side of things, Typhoon. What you got for the Bengals?
Well, Vegas has it. Bengals -4, 48.5 is the over/under. Bengals offensive line coming in at number 31. That's why you're seeing that type of mixing play that you guys are witnessing. It's not really mixing. You know, when I look at a player like that, is it a suspension? Is he hurt? You know, what is it? And when you have a player that the outside circumstances, and it's not the player as far as just his talent is fine, I always buy low on those. So I would buy low on mixing.
Yeah.
Because his offensive line is going to change.
Yep.
Now, Alden Tate has already been spoke about. John Ross is out. Of course, crank up Tyler Boyd. And actually, I would start Andy Dalton, if I'm in a bind, if I'm streaming.
Yep. Yeah.
I would go ahead and try that. And I got Bengals to win this.
Bengals. All right, going with the Bengals. So someone's getting their first victory here.
Yeah, somebody.
Yep, I'm taking the Cardinals here. I think that they've shown enough to me that I think they can put it together and get a victory finally on the road. It'll be a tough matchup, I believe. I think it'll be a shootout. It'll be one that I'm probably going to have some stacks in DFS for, just because I think this game's going to be high scoring with these two offenses. So yeah, good stuff, guys. All right, quick commercial break, guys. When we come back, we'll have to tackle the rest of the games.
In the unpredictable world of fantasy sports, when all hope seems lost and chaos and confusion rule, one hero will rise. And change everything. GoingFor2.com. Because no one remembers the extra point.
All right, guys, welcome back. I'm here with Fantasy Typhoon and, of course, Ryan Searfoss, and we are breaking down week number 5, and we are on the Jags at 2-2, going to the 2-2 Panthers. Ryan, this is your game. What you looking for in this game? You guys on mute, Ryan.
Sorry about that. I always mute over the break just in case. Start with Jags. I think we're going to have another big game by Leonard Fournette. Obviously not another 225 game, but I think this game gets heavy volume. Carolina has given up the 8th most yards in the league against the running back position. So I think it could be 9th most. So it should be a huge game for him. As for the Panthers, obviously McCaffrey's going to do his thing. But I think we're going to see nice showing out of Greg Olsen against their defense. This week. I think he's going to be a guy who is going to get volume, attack the middle of the field where they have plenty of holes. So I'm going to take him there. And I really want to see him come around on DJ Moore. He's kind of faltered off since Cam's been out, but the offense is bound to start to come around and get a little bit more used to it. So I think I'm feel more comfortable with flex play for those receivers. And as for the Jags, DJ Shark's still getting a lot of volume, so I like him. And I'm still a little bit nervous about Westbrook. Not really trust him as much. And obviously, Gardner Minshew. He's just the hero of the people.
You got the fever yet? You got the fever? Do you own any Minshew shares?
I own 0 Minshew shares. He's been in my waiver article 2 weeks in a row. I don't own any of them. But he's exciting. I think he is the next Ryan Fitzpatrick.
All right, yeah.
And I don't mean that as disrespect.
Yeah, that's actually a good comparison, though. I kind of like it. All right, so who are you picking in this game, Ryan?
I think I'm going to take Panthers at home. I think they have a little bit more firepower, and I think Christian McCaffrey is one of the all-time difference makers in the league right now.
All right, and who you got for this game, Typhoon?
The waiver wire QB. Give me the Panthers.
Panthers at home.
Hopefully, Allen can have a rapport with DJ Moore. It looks like he likes Samuel and Olsen a little bit.
Yep, that's true.
And DJ Moore's so good after the catch. Just get him the ball in space, man.
Yep.
It makes me so mad.
I too am going Panthers at home on this one, so I won't catch up with Ryan on this game. Moving on to the next game, we got another game that should have some good offense involved with the Bucks at 2-2, going to the Saints at 3-1. Bucks coming off of a franchise record 55 points put up on the Rams team that to that point had not given up a TD to a pass catcher all season, and then of course they just went bonkers on them last week. What you got for the Bucks this week, Ryan?
Do not bench either of those receivers at any time. And do not take a victory lap when you did because you should have been starting them to begin with. Players had bad weeks, and this offense just had to get clicking. And my God, those two are ridiculous right now, Godwin and Evans. O.J. Howard scares me, man. I don't know how he's fitting in that offense. They're keeping him in line as a blocker and just feeding those two. There's guys who I'd start over him, like Disley's even. And I'm not comfortable with him at all right now until I see a little bit more out of it. And I'm not going to be the first person to trust him and have a breakout game with him starting.
Yep.
And Ronald Jones, like we talked about earlier, he's looked great, but I'm a little nervous about the Saints' defense. They've been really, really good against the run, and they kind of force teams to pass a little bit more. So I'm more leaning towards that pass game with the two receivers, Evans, Godwin, and then I think Jameson for another decent game.
Yep, I agree with all those points. Let's go over to the Saints side of things. The Drew Brees-less Saints, but that are still winning games here. What you got for the Saints side, Typhoon?
Man, you had to give me the Saints. I'm a Cowboys fan, man. I'm still looking at my wounds, man. Why you do this to me? Look, they didn't even score a touchdown. They just kicked field goals and beat us. So that just shows you a good team. That's a good coach team. You know, it's good to have skilled players in an offense like that. You know, because your number one quarterback goes down, and you just think they're going to run for the hills. No, they're still competing. You know, they're still holding on.
Yep.
3-1. Who would have thought? Vegas has it Saints 6.5, minus 6.5. Over under is 47. And when I get the offensive line grade, guys, the offensive line grade is for the run game only,
right?
Not for the pass. It's only for the run game. And they're coming in at number 8. Good for Kamara, which we already know Kamara has the balance we have never seen before in this Earth's history. It's never been seen. Now, I know you guys are going to want me to pick the Saints, but I'm not. I'm going for the Bucks. Oh,
man. See, I thought I'd be contrarian. I'm going with the Bucks as well. Ryan, what you got for this game? Who you picking?
Actually, clean sweep with the Bucks. I think their offense looks fantastic.
Wow, we're all picking the upset there. Surprising.
Oh, I thought I was doing something.
I know, right? I thought I was too. I thought for sure Ryan would go with the Saints on that one. All right, let's go to the next game on the docket. We got is the Jets at 0-3 coming off their bye, going to the Eagles that are a surprising 2-2. Typhoon, you got this game. What you looking for in this game?
Look, on the Bucks game, can I switch to the Saints then?
You want to switch to the Saints? All right, we can do that.
Switch to the Saints. I'm going to pick one up right there.
All right.
Jets 0-3, Eagles 2-2. Vegas has it, Eagles minus 13. Over under 44.5. Jets offensive line ranked number 32, which is last in the NFL. Good luck, Le'Veon Bell. So, I mean, the question here is how long can they survive without Sam Darnold?
Yep.
You know, I mean, let's just call it what it is. Luke Falk, I mean, come on. We need Sam in there. We get Hendron back sometime soon. I know Robbie Anderson's been dropped in a lot of leagues. Quietly scoop him up, you know, about 3:30 in the morning. You know, kind of wake up and sneak him. Eagles offensive line is number 12. As you can see, they were road grading against the Packers. So they're starting to climb as well. You know, when you look at the Eagles, they usually take the first 4 games as preseason. So now you're really starting to see what the Eagles are made of. Cowboys fan, you know, I got to keep it real. I got to give the Eagles their credit. I'm a little nervous with this team. Jordan Howard, Miles Sanders, Ertz, Carson Wentz, maybe even a Goddard touchdown, and Alshon Jeffrey, lock and load.
Lock and
Give
load.
me the Eagles.
Yep, lock and load. I agree 100% with all those calls there. I think Goddard's definitely a touchdown dependent guy, but if you're in a pinch and you need, you know, tight end's a pretty terrible position. If you need to put somebody in there because you got someone on a bye or somebody hurt, Goddard's definitely a chance you can take and get that touchdown. He seems to be their red zone guy.
Let me ask something right quick, Jeff.
Go ahead.
It's a Miles Sanders game.
Miles Sanders game. All right.
Yeah.
There it is. The breakout is coming finally.
This is it.
All right. Well, who you got for this game? You going Eagles?
Eagles, yeah.
Eagles. Ryan, you going Eagles, I'm assuming, as well?
Yep.
All right. I, too, am going with the Eagles. All right. Next game on the docket we got is the Vikings at 2-2 going to the 2-2 Giants. The Giants are surprisingly 2-2. Ryan, this is your game. What you looking for here? Are we going to get some passing games in this for the Vikings finally, or what?
I honestly do believe we're going to see that kind of bounce back with Vikings pass offense. There was a lot of complaining afterwards. Thielen called it out, and even the coaches admitted to kind of messing up a little bit with that. Kirk Cousins hasn't been looking good, but you know what? The Giants are 7th worst team against the pass this year. Teams are throwing all over them, and I think it's going to continue against the Vikings. They have too much. I don't care how average Kirk Cousins is. Diggs and Thielen are absolute talents at the wide receiver position. They have to get them the ball. And normally I don't like players calling off the team, but I agree with them. I think they're kind of having a bounce-back game. And we saw a little bit of it from Diggs last week. Dalvin's just a monster, so giddy up for him. As for the Giants, man, I don't feel comfortable playing any of them. I think we're going to see Daniel Jones finish outside the top 20 for QBs again. Vikings defense has been great, especially against the run. So Gallman, he may get some PPR volume, but not much yardage, and I can't see him getting to the red zone. And we're going to see Xavier Rhodes with Sterling Shepard, so no thank you. I'm staying away from pretty much everyone there except for Evan Ingram.
Yeah, I say Evan Ingram's probably the one guy that I'm looking at because the one place that they're weak is at the tight end spot. I actually called him out last week on my DFS show. I said play Austin Hooper, and of course he went bonkers against that Vikings defense. So yeah, great call there. Ryan, if you get a chance, see if you can reboot your Skype because you're frozen over there. We still got your audio, but we got our frozen face, so I don't know if you can fix that.
I will do that after. I'll do that after I pick the Vikings right here.
All right, pick the Vikings. All right, who you got for this one, Typhoon? Who you picking?
Man, believe it or not, I'm going Giants.
Oh, wow. All right. A Cowboys fan going for the Giants. I like it.
Man. Gotta call it, man. Gotta call it. Can't be scared of this.
All right, so the next game on the docket, we'll wait for Ryan to get back. So we're going to go to the next game. Oh, wait, Ryan's already back.
Here.
Already back. Okay, so this game is kind of it upset me a little bit because this should be the game that Khalil Mack goes back to Oakland and does his thing in front of his former home crowd. But they moved this game to London. It was too big to put in the United States. They had to move it outside to London. So it's going to be a London game with the Bears at 3-1 going to the 2-2 Raiders. Technically the Raiders are the home team, but they're both playing in London. Ryan, we'll go to you first for the Bears side of things. What you looking for over here?
I think we're going to see heavy volume running with them. Who's the backup quarterback with Trubisky possibly being out right now?
Chase Daniels.
Chase Daniels. I mean, he can't do much worse than Trubisky, so maybe Allen Robinson, but I mean, these London games, man, have been putrid for offense in the past, 3 years. Bears defense, my top defense this week.
Yeah,
or
definitely.
is going to be the running for it. And I really don't want many players from either side right now in these matchups where they're at. But I said if I have to do one, I feel okay about David Montgomery. Not great about it, but okay. And I feel about the same way in Allen Robinson. Other than those two, no thanks.
Yeah, I agree. I think those are the two players you're looking at is Allen Robinson and David Montgomery. I think this is going to be, I think Typhoon said this is the Miles Sanders game, the last game. I think this is going to be the David Montgomery game. I think he breaks out in this one in London. I think this is finally, he's getting the volume. He's just not getting the fantasy points yet, but I think it comes against this Raiders team. All right, let's go to the Raiders.
Or IDP, Khalil Mack.
Oh, yeah, IDP, definitely. He's locked and loaded right there.
4 sacks,
I might even play Khalil Mack in a league without IDP because he's going to be that good. All right, let's go to the other side of things here. The Raiders side of things at 2-2. Typhoon, what you got for the Raiders?
Look. Roger Goodell must hate the Raiders because every time it's a game shipped out the country, it's the Raiders.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If they have a game on the moon, guess who's going?
It's the Raiders.
The Raiders versus somebody. You know what I mean? So I'll be paying attention to that. Vegas has this Bears -6 over under at 41. Raiders offensive line, believe it or not, with the run, is coming in at number 10. Question is, can Darren Waller continue his tear?
Yep.
I don't see why not.
Yep.
He's the number one option on the team. I mean, the first quarter of the NFL, like I tell my subscribers, first 4 weeks, that's where the market shifts and sets. And if your player's outside looking in through week 5,
you're in trouble.
Your player's outside looking in pretty much for the rest of the season.
Yep.
This is it. And Darren Waller is it. It's not Tyrell Williams. It's not Hunter Renfrow. It's not those other guys. It's Darren Waller. And on top of that, I want to see a little bit more from Josh Jacobs. I want to see him do something.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Coming out of college, he was a pass-catching running back, and he hasn't really been part of the passing game yet. Are you surprised by that as well?
Yeah, a little surprised. I thought there would be a little bit more Josh Jacobs, but we sent a little bit too much of Washington and Rashad, or whichever one you want to call him. Sent a little too much of them. But, it is what it is. He's a rookie. He's got to acclimate himself, and he's got to learn. I can't give him a breakout game yet, but it should be coming sooner or later, but I don't think it's this one.
Right.
Give me Bears.
Bears. Ryan, you're going Bears as well, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't play with that.
Yeah, it's definitely Bears for me as well. I'm not going to try to get cute and try to catch up too soon. I think it's the Bears as well. All right, next game we got on the docket is the 0-4 Broncos. And I always say this, but the 0-4 teams aren't always created equal. I think the Broncos have played well. They could have won a couple of games. They've just been unlucky as hell. Going to the 2-2 Chargers. What you got for this game, Typhoon?
Let's see. Vegas has this. Chargers -6.5, 6.5. Over under at 44. Broncos offensive line with the run is coming in at number 6, which is surprising. Look, I got to ask the question: is this it for Flacco?
Yes,
it's got to be. But who do they put in there? I don't even know who the backup is because their rookie is hurt.
Yeah, is this it? Now, the surprising thing is when you look at the running back, Lindsey and Freeman, you would think Freeman would be the pound guy, the short yardage back, and Lindsey would be the passing, the third down back.
Yep.
But believe it or not, when they both come in the game, they both have the whole playbook is open to each player equally.
Yep.
So that was just something that I've been seeing on the film that I wanted to bring out. Cortland Sutton is growing up in front of our eyes. Might be something special there going forward. Chargers offensive line is number 13. Man, look, if you got Austin Eckler, the first 4 games of this, the first 4 weeks, bang, I take my hat off to you. He has been ripping it up. He has paid his dividends. Now, Melvin Gordon back, like I told you, I don't see Melvin Gordon last. He's getting traded, if you ask me. So I would hold on to Austin Eckler. Don't trade, but buy low.
Buy low.
Give me Chargers, of course. I'm not playing with this game.
All right, good stuff there. Yeah, and I was reminded on YouTube from Kyle. He said that Chad Kelly is the Broncos' backup quarterback right now, so I don't know if they want to go to Chad Kelly or not.
Yes, I love Chad Kelly.
All right, Ryan, pick this game. Who you got?
Come on now, Chargers.
Chargers, yeah, Chargers for me as well. Sweep it. All right, next game we got up is the Packers at 3-1 and the Cowboys at 3-1. This has been a rivalry going back for years. It's a very good rivalry, and I think this is going to be a great game once again. Ryan, we'll go to you first for the Packers side of things. What you looking for from the Packers?
First things first, Devontae Adams' health. If he plays, I'm playing him obviously, but I'm going to temper my expectations. Hopefully he plays. If he does play, I'm going to preface it, Marquez Valdez-Scantling is still the other receiver I want on that team. I know Geronimo Allison had a nice week last week, but he still got out-targeted 7-4 and hasn't out-targeted or come close to Valdez-Scantling this year. If Adams is out, that moves Allison up a decent amount for me in the rankings, but it kind of downgrades the rest of the team. I don't trust the running game. I don't trust Aaron Jones. I never will. They just don't use him and don't trust him. I think you can play Jimmy Graham, even though Dallas is pretty good at the linebacker spot. But I think it's kind of a downgrade for that offense in general this week with that matchup and not a healthy Adams.
Yeah, good stuff. And I want to correct myself. Kyle was just messing with me on YouTube. It's not actually Chad Kelly. It is Brandon Allen, who I honestly couldn't even tell you who the hell that is. So it's Joe Flacco's job because I can't imagine they're going to put Brandon Allen there to see what they got with Brandon Allen. Never even heard of him before. All right,
broke my heart. Yeah.
Let's go over to the other side of things here with the Cowboys. Your own Cowboys. What you looking for in this game, Typhoon?
Man, we got stumped last week. I got to own it. Look, Sean Payton saw our weakness, and he run blitzes. That's shut our whole offense down. Hopefully Kellen Moore went back to the lab this week, comes out with some new kinks, some new wrinkles. Vegas has it, Dallas -4, over under at 48. So they're looking at a nice scoring game. Got a question. Is Devontae Adams ready?
It's coming. It's got to come sooner or later. I don't know if it's this game.
Yeah, it's going to be that Thursday. It's going to be a Sunday breaking news.
Okay.
So,
I don't think he goes.
Yeah, with that toe, it's tough. I don't know. I don't know if they want to risk it. They got some good receivers there.
I don't think he goes. Dallas offensive line with the run, number 5. Can Dak pick it back up? Absolutely. Zeke is going to return to Zeke form. Do we get Michael Gallup back? That's a big question.
Yep.
Love to have Gallup back. We also lost. Didn't we lose our left tackle, Tyron Smith, or something?
Yeah, I think
he has a high ankle sprain.
Yep.
So he's out, which, usually we have we're pretty good at the offensive line as far as left tackles coming and back up, but we'll see. Packers defense, I believe, has been a little bit overrated.
Agreed.
I believe they've been a little bit overrated. I'm looking for a nice little blowout here, Cowboys style.
All right.
Start Zeke, of course. Start Dak, of course. Start Witten, of course. And, of course, number 1 wide receiver, Amari Cooper. Give me the Cowboys all day by a landslide.
All right, good stuff. Ryan, who are you going for in this game? Or who you got?
I'm going Cowboys, and I need to shout out Talk Loud Radio because I won a contest with them for an autographed Amari Cooper mini helmet this week.
Nice.
Because Amari Cooper scored no touchdowns.
Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm actually going Packers. My wife's a Packers fan, and I think I gotta go Packers, or I might get a divorce if she. Yeah, definitely got to go Packers here. I think the Packers defense, what you said, is overrated. I totally agree. I think that run defense has just been terrible. So Zeke is gonna just have a field day against that defense. Devontae Adams being hurt is a situation that I gotta monitor because maybe I'll change my pick if he can't go. I think he opens things up. So I think that might change my pick a little bit. But I think the Packers go into Cowboy Stadium and take this one if they got full health. All right, next game on the docket we got is the Colts at 2-2, going to the Chiefs at 4-0, who almost lost the game last week to the Lions. Ryan, we'll go to you for this game, Colts and Chiefs. What you looking for in this game?
Injuries galore on the Colts. I mean, T.Y. Hilton aggravated his quad. Marlon Mack had his ankle injured. Paris Campbell's still hurt with an abdominal injury. So those are huge question marks. I don't have faith Hilton's going to be there. And with him there, somebody has to step up because they got to throw the ball. Deion Kane's probably next man up out of those receivers with the way they're going. And I think it could be a Nyheim Hines game for them, being they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. And he's one of the better pass catchers they have left, even though he's out of the running back position. And for the Chiefs, man, we know it.
Start them all.
Start them all. You start Patrick Mahomes if he's playing an all-pro team. It doesn't matter. Demarcus Robinson, Sammy Watkins,
Kelsey.
Everybody.
Start them all.
Darrell Williams has looked really good running the ball. I mean, who's not going to look good because they're seeing like freaking 4-man fronts because everybody's worried about the pass.
Yep.
I mean, it's business as usual with the Chiefs, man. They're a freaking buzzsaw.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you could probably start a Chiefs fan in your lineup and actually get some points because I think Mahomes is just that good right now.
Yeah, I mean, and wait till Tyreek Hill gets back.
Yeah,
this is the world we're living in.
Insane. So he's picking, I'm assuming, the Chiefs?
Yeah.
All right, Typhoon, Are you going to try to get cute here and go with the Colts, or you got the Chiefs as well?
Nah, no need to get cute when not when it's not necessary.
Yep, agreed.
Give me the Chiefs, and look, everybody has been game planning for Sammy Watkins. You know, been kind of doubling Watkins. That's how you got Miko and Robinson just running free on those posts and go routes. So look for Watkins to have, I would say, a 13-target game. Now I don't know what that would actually look like in fantasy points, but
nice
this is a Sammy Watkins game.
Sammy Watkins.
And give me the Chiefs. No need to play with it.
Yeah,
we'll say I would feel comfortable starting Brissett this week.
You would?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to have to throw the ball. He's going to run the ball.
Yep.
He's going to try everything he can. I feel bad that I forgot to mention him earlier because he's just kind of a forgotten man this year, and he's had at least 2 touchdowns in every game.
And he's the only quarterback to do that. Did you know that?
I did not realize that.
Yeah, I saw a stat on Twitter. I was going to bring it up. He's actually the only quarterback to have multi-touchdown games in every game this year that he's played. So that's kind of a surprising stat. I would have never picked him out of that group of people. All right, we're going to the Monday night game. The Browns at 2-2, going to the 49ers, who coming off their bye week are at 3-0. They are the last of the 3 undefeated teams between the Chiefs and the Patriots. Ryan, we'll go to you for the Browns side of things. What you got for the Browns?
I did not realize they were the Browns. I feel, I'm a little worried about Nick Chubb having a bounce back this week after that monster game this week. San Fran is a lot better up front right now than Baltimore was. It really hurts my soul here saying that. I think we're going to see a huge game out of OBJ, man. He was embarrassed last week. It's the first time in his career he went 3 quarters not catching a ball, and he was rendered and choked out to be useless on the fantasy gridiron. I don't think Richard Sherman, at this point in his career, is going to do what we saw Marlon Humphrey do last week. So I think it's a big bounce-back game for OBJ. Watching Jarvis Landry's health, he got injured late, and I haven't really heard anything about it yet. So I'm keeping an eye on that. But, I mean, if he's out, all you have is Chubb and OBJ to force the ball to. So I think San Fran's a little better than expected, but I think we'll see nice games out of OBJ. But temper expectations more towards that RB2 range for Nick Chubb.
All right, and if you don't mind, Typhoon, I'm going to take this one because this is my team. I want to talk about them a little bit. I'll give you a chance to talk about them as well. But I think
let me follow up.
Go ahead.
Too. Go ahead.
All right, that'll work. All right, so yeah, basically we're coming off our bye week. Our defenses look really good. We haven't been tested yet. We did get the Steelers, but we got Steelers with Mason Rudolph, and somehow we managed to win that last game with 5 turnovers. I don't know how we did it, but we did it. Our front 7, I think, covers a lot of deficiencies in the secondary. I think if you can slow down our front 7 from getting to the quarterback, we are a little bit susceptible on the back end there. So if the Browns can do that, I can definitely see OBJ having a good game here. The Browns struggle a little bit more in the run game as far as defending the run. So I think the 49ers running backs are all viable here. Breida, Mostert, I think that we heard that Tevin Coleman might be back. If he's back, then I'm avoiding the situation altogether. I don't want to touch that backfield. But if it's just Mostert and Breida, they're both getting enough volume. I think they're both startable. If you need to start one of those guys. Receivers, it's tough. You got Deebo Samuel's there coming up with as a rookie, looking really good. Of course, Pettis last week caught that touchdown. I do think that they get Pettis going. I think I heard that his injury was a little more serious than they were leading on earlier in the season. So I think he finally is healthy now. I think we'll see the Pettis that we kind of expected to see. And I think Deebo Samuel keeps doing his thing. And then Kittle, I know everybody's waiting for it. We keep saying every week that this is going to be a Kittle game. I think this is going to be the Kittle game. I believe he breaks out in this one. He's getting the targets. He's had a few touchdowns that have been called back. Otherwise, he'd be really good right now. I just think that the Kittle game is coming. I think it might be this one on Monday night in front of the world. We're going to see who George Kittle really is. All right, so let's go to Typhoon for the rest of this. What you got for the 49ers?
Yeah, I just want to follow up and piggyback on what you said about your defensive front. It's just insane. Your first-round pick loaded. You got D Ford, you got Buckner, you got Armstead, you got Bosa. Just sitting back, just ready to eat Baker Mayfield sandwich. I would start this defense. Start it. If you don't have the Patriots, this is a good stream.
Yep.
Vegas has Niners -4 over under at 47. Your offensive line depth is number one. Shanahan run game is insane.
Yep.
It always has been. Everywhere he's been, it's followed him. So it's got to tell you it's him. Love Breida, but I call him Mr. 2020 because everything from the 20 to the 20 is Breida. The next thing you know, here comes Wilson. Who's this Wilson dude, man?
Yes. Yep.
He comes in and eats.
Yep, that's true.
But now if Tevin Coleman comes back, I don't think you're going to have all those guys up. Somebody's got to sit.
Yep.
You got to have Juice check up. You're going to have Mostert up. And you're going to have Breida up and Coleman. So is Wilson going to be up too?
Wilson's the odd man out, but I don't know. He's their touchdown guy. Coleman might be the odd man out. Yeah, it might be Coleman.
That's what your running game is outstanding.
So, yeah, there's a stat that I wanted to bring up. I don't have it here in front of me, but there was a stat on Twitter I saw. It was like listing running backs that have over 20 yards rushing and how many times they've done it, on a single run. I think Zeke had done it like 7 or 8 times. I think it was like Kamara had 8. I forget. I think Eckler had like 10. Runs over 20 yards. And then on that list was Mostert and Breida, both with 8, which is crazy to think about. The 2 running backs from the same team both have 8 rushes over 20 yards, which is insane to think about. So I think our run game will be fine. So I think if it's just those 2 guys, fire them up. If Coleman's in the mix, I don't know. I'm a little worried about firing those guys up if Coleman's in there. I think that Coleman is the odd man out because Mostert also plays special teams, which Coleman does not. So that kind of gives him a little bit of advantage to be on the active roster. So it's a little bit murky right now. I think we'll get more as we get closer to Sunday. All right, it is time for our forgotten player.
Get ready for GoingFor2.com's Forgotten Fantasy Player of the Week.
All right, Typhoon, going to you. What you got for your forgotten fantasy player this week?
I just want to say, give me the Niners.
Oh,
I don't think you asked.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't. Yep, I didn't. Pick the Niners. I picked the Niners as well. Ryan, who you going with?
Taking the Browns, even though I'm rooting for the Niners because I hate the Browns.
All right,
but
fair enough.
I think the Browns are starting to click, and their defense looks really good.
Yeah, the defense has looked really good. You're right. All right, so now forgotten player. What you got, Typhoon, for your forgotten player?
Look, my forgotten player. This is kind of hard to do, but thinking about it, Demaryius Thomas is my player that's forgotten now. That man has won me a championship back in 2014.
Yep.
When we all know Peyton Manning came to town and threw the 50 touchdowns, it was just a party. He won me a chip that year in one of my toughest leagues, Jeff, Ryan, and one of my toughest leagues against office with Goodell. I'm in fantasy league with those guys. I'm in fantasy league with football players. Guys that played with the 49ers. That Super Bowl with the 49ers is in there.
Nice.
I beat them. I beat them all with Demaryius Thomas that year. Demaryius Thomas, 6'3", 225. He came out of Georgia Tech, which was my school. Back in 2010, he was the first-round pick. Actually, he was number 22. That year, he had 111 receptions, 1,619 yards.
That's a ton of yards.
Now he's on the Jets. Had an ACL tear, so that's my forgotten player, man. Love Demaryius Thomas. He did it for me.
That's definitely a good one because I think everyone kind of sees him now in his career and forget just how good he actually was. I mean, he was like top of his game when he had Peyton Manning out there, and he was like the top receiver and one of the top receivers in the NFL. So.
Yeah, he's the top 5 guy in the league.
Yeah, he definitely was.
It's the village makes the child.
All right, let's go around the room and give us your Twitter handle. Typhoon, we'll go to you first. Where can we find you? Where can we find your show? And where can we find your Twitter handle?
You can always Google or Bing the Fantasy Typhoon. Hit enter. That's my whole page. That's my footprint. That's where I've been. That's where I've written a lot of sites and things of that nature. I tried my own little venture. So that's my footprint in the fantasy industry. You can find my podcast on iTunes, Fantasy Football 101. I'm also doing work now over on YouTube. I call it Typhoon TV. So check me out there as well. And Twitter, of course, Fantasy Typhoon.
All right. Good.
Hey, look, Jeff, man, you got to let me cut loose, man. I'm long-winded, man. You got to give me some time to break this thing down, man.
I'll have a special with just you on. We'll just have me, you, and Ryan, Fantasy Typhoon, and just let you talk the whole show. It's just hard when we got 15 games to get to. It's tough.
Hey, look. So, what prize do I get when I beat you and Ryan? What do I get?
You get the recognition.
On the show.
You get there you go.
Nah, you're gonna be on regardless. Yeah.
Yeah. If you beat us, we'll give you an extra 20 minutes. That's what we'll give you.
All right. There you go. But hey, Jeff.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming on, Ryan. Where can we find you at, man?
Find me on Twitter, Ryan Searfoss, at fantasyfbconnect.com. Obviously, find me here every Tuesday about waiver articles as well. I'm also started doing SEC and Devy coverage for the Dynasty Draft Room by friends of the show, who are ran by friends of the show, Zach Thomas and Matt Hicks. Go ahead and give a follow. I put out an article covering Tua Tagovailoa last week, ranking him down the future first round Miami Dolphins pick.
All right, good stuff. Ryan is doing a lot of things these days. All right, of course, I'm Jeff. You can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Lambert. I'm here every Tuesday and Friday doing the show. Peace.